be everywhere at all times and can't do everything. And thankfully, our community is pitching in to lend assistance to the less fortunate. I'd like Pastors John McCatton and Sang Hoon Yu to please come up. I thought I saw them earlier. Thank you, gentlemen. A few years ago, our community, our city organization, reached out to faith-based organizations across Tempe for help. With John McCatton, who was then the chaplain of the Arizona legislature, we created a program called For Our City. The inaugural project was emergency preparedness, with the idea that the faith community would help develop response plans in the case authorities could not respond quickly. We understood from things like Hurricane Katrina that it is not possible for the government to act quickly enough to mass difficulties. And so, in fact, the city of Tempe undertook a number of additional programs. We did what's called a top-off exercise for a mass disaster to test all of our systems. And what we know from that is that we have to have help in our community. So the emergency preparedness program that these two gentlemen helped us put together has been a critical element of our preparing. But in addition, we developed together a program called HURT, Holistic Urgent Recovery Training, which trains trainers in our faith organizations. Under the leadership of Pastor Sang Hoon Yu, the director of HURT, plus our police chief Tom Riff, and our fire chief Mark Simmons, the program is now used as a model throughout the state and at national organizations such as the Christian Emergency Network. On Saturday, October 9th, HURT Training and Community Preparedness Exercise Fair will be taking place at the City in the Desert Metro Church, where Pastor Yu serves. It's on Apache Boulevard, just a little east of Rural Road. It's on the north side of the road, and it's a beautiful facility that perhaps does some of the most important work of our community. For example, iHelp operates frequent outreach to those who are homeless. So before I read a proclamation, I'd like to invite Pastor Yu to say a few words, if you wouldn't mind. You want to introduce folks? Please, why don't you step here? When your name is called, please come forward.
Well, I want to introduce the first task force when we started a HURT program together with Pastor John McCatton, Chief Riff from the police department.
Chief Riff?
Here?
No, there he is. He's there.
And Chief Jones.
He's a retired guy in the back.
Of course, Chief Simmons. And Pastor Mike Reckling.
Where are you, Michael? Not here. He's called out on emergency.
And Pastor Ken Hallman. And we also had Pastor Rick Burdett and Dr. Jerry Ford.
That's all right. Well, let me read the proclamation if I may. Whereas the preparedness and resilience of our community depends a great deal upon family and neighborhood connections in times of need. And whereas HURT, the Holistic Urgent Recovery Training, is a Tempe-based program for the emergency preparedness for our community, sponsored by CARE Inc., and it's For Our City model. And whereas the mission of HURT is to train, equip, and empower all faith-based organizations to be part of the solution rather than the problem in time of emergency. And whereas HURT is purposed to implement and facilitate a 72-hour emergency preparedness training and plan for individuals, families, and neighborhoods throughout every faith organization. And whereas HURT is working in collaboration with the Tempe Fire and Police Departments and other community organizations to develop HURT training operation package and community preparedness exercise and fair. And whereas HURT, under the direction of Sang Hoon Yu and the HURT Task Force, has taken the lead in administering and developing strategic trainings and plans for the community emergency situations. And whereas For Our City and HURT, leaders are working in cooperation with other faith leaders to bring together people of all faiths to work in betterment of our entire community. Now therefore, I, Hugh Hallman, Mayor of the City of Tempe, Arizona, do hereby declare October 9th, 2010, that's October 9th for the emergency fair, please, as HURT Facilitator Recognition Day in Tempe, Arizona. Thank you, Sang Hoon, for having me.
No, you do. Great.
Thank you very much.